Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So as the title to this video says, it says this is why I think, or these are a few reasons why I think you should store lots of tea lights. Such as these little inexpensive tea lights. I picked up these tea lights really inexpensive when they were on clearance after the holidays about 2 years ago actually. And I remember paying 25 cents for a pack of 16. And I picked up pretty much all of the packs that they had left, which was a substantial amount. Now, one of the reasons is you can use them as candles to light up your home. If for some reason you don't have regular candles and all of your other lighting options have been exhausted. Another great reason that I think is for barter. Because think about it. There's a lot of people out there who don't think about stockpiling candles. And I'm not talking about stockpiling them like fill up an entire Connex of candles. Just have a small box full of candles that you can easily access and use if you ever need to. The third reason, however, is something that I've been experimenting with for a while as far as how many to use and for how long. And I've received a lot of comments where community members have asked, what can I use to cook inside my house? Because I don't want to use propane, although I feel that using propane inside the house is fine as long as you have a little bit of ventilation. Because believe it or not, this stove right here, this range right here that you see is a propane range. And I use this range on a daily basis. Use the oven and the propane flame comes up, no problem. Never had a problem once. I actually prefer a range that uses gas over a range that uses electricity. I've been doing a little bit of experimenting with this to see how many I need to use and for how long. I figured out that it takes at least 8 candles to bring 1 cup of water up to boiling. And it's going to take about 25 to 30 minutes. However, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This may not seem like an optimal decision to make as far as using tea lights, but I'm talking about if this is the last thing that you have. If this is your last option, the only option that you have, why would it hurt for you to go ahead and see if you can grab some of these on clearance and just have them stored away for what if? It can't really hurt. All right, especially when you can get them so cheaply after the holidays. When I got these last, it was after Halloween, I believe it was. It was after Halloween. All right, so you're looking at 8 tea lights. Those tea lights cost me about 12.5 cents. Each of those tea lights will light for roughly 3.5 to 4 hours before they're used up. And today what we're going to do is we're going to see how long it takes for 1 cup of water to come up to a boil. And I'm going to have my thermometer here so that you guys can see. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and add some rice to that water and see how long it takes for that rice to cook, which shouldn't be but about 20-25 minutes after that water comes up to a boil. So let's go ahead and start this off. I'm going to go ahead and place these tea lights on this little platform that I built. All I did was grab a small box and I wrapped it with aluminum foil. And I'm going to place my tea lights on top of there as I light them. Now let me go ahead and say this for any youngsters that may be watching this video. Do not do this without the supervision of your parents or an adult. And if you are an adult and you're going to try this, make sure that you have a fire extinguisher handy, just in case. All right, believe it or not, I have fire extinguishers all over this house. They're within an arm's reach away. Actually, the one in my kitchen is about within 3 arms reach away of me right now. But I can get to it very, very quickly if I have to. All right, so make sure that you monitor this while you're doing it. And make sure that you do your own research before you try this. I'm only showing you what I'm doing, all right? So I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it. You're just seeing how I do it, all right? Because I wouldn't want somebody to misinterpret what I'm trying to tell them and cause something bad to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these tea lights. I'm going to light them up. Now that I have all my tea lights lit up, something you will need is some kind of a platform to be able to rest your pot on. And this here is the pot that we're going to be using. Just going to place it right up here. And in this cup, I have 1 cup of water. And to that cup of water, since we're going to be making a little bit of rice today, we're going to go ahead and put just a little bit of oil. Now, one thing you have to be careful of, I just noticed that this happened. When you put your pot down, make sure you don't put it too fast because the airflow can turn off one of your lights or one of your candles. And I just noticed that happen. So you can see this one right here is turned off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that one back on. Just be careful putting this on here. Let's see, and they are all on. Now what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I am going to dip my thermometer stick in here. And I'm going to cover it with a lid. And trust me, you really want to cover it with a lid because that's really going to help. We're going to go ahead and turn this thing on. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that, but right now you can see that the water is at 74 degrees and it's rising. It's 75 now. I'm going to turn on my timer, and the timer has started. I'm not sure if you guys can see the timer there. It's at 3, 4, 5 seconds, and you can see it's at 78 degrees now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to come back and show you guys when this comes up to a boil, and you'll be able to see the timer. You'll be able to see how many minutes it's at when it comes up to a boil, or very close to a boil, okay? So we'll be back in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to show you that it's taken 6 minutes and it's up to 154 degrees. All right, so that's after 6 minutes. I'm assuming that the hotter it gets, the longer it'll take to gain more temperature. But this is at 6 minutes, 154 degrees. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And look at this. Man, it's terrible. 21 minutes, we're at 214 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are at a very light boil. I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off of this. And you can see that we have a very light boil. I'm going to go ahead and remove my probe from here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my rice in there and stir it around, and then I'm going to put the lid back on and cover it. All right. I'm going to put my lid back on this with the tea lights still on, and I'm going to cover it for 30 minutes. And then we'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. So it's been 28 minutes and I think this is done. So I'm going to take this pot off, place it over here, and I'm going to turn off my candle lights or my tea lights. And I was able to see like through the little cracks right here of the moisture that the rice looks nice and fluffy, but I haven't opened it. Let me turn these off first. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may be thinking, first of all, remember that this is like probably one of the last things you're going to use to cook. It's something that you're going to have put away just in case any fuel that you may have has been exhausted, just in case you have no electricity, just in case you don't happen to have a wood stove. All right? So this is one of the last things you're going to use. Or it may be one of the first things you use if you live in a small apartment where you don't want to use propane and obviously you can't use wood, and you don't have a wood stove, or you don't have any electricity, it may be one of the first things that you use. As far as cost, like I said, I only get these tea lights when they're on sale, like on clearance. However, even if you don't, you can pick up 200 tea lights for like $15 or $16 on Amazon. And you may be able to pick them up even less expensive than that if you go to like your local Walmart or one of those stores. So as far as cost, I don't think it's very expensive. And these tea lights are good for 4 hours. Now, we've used these tea lights for about an hour. It took about 20 something minutes for the water to come up to temperature. And then it took another 28 minutes for the rice to cook. So we've used it for about an hour. You should be able to cook this same dish 3 more times with the amount of fuel or wax that we have left for these tea lights. Okay, so it's not a very expensive prep, and I think it's very cost effective as far as what you can do with it. Now, some people may say, well, I'm not only going to make a half a cup of rice. I have 4 people in my family. I'm going to make at least a 1 cup or 2 cup dish. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to use a larger platform to cook on, then just use more tea lights and experiment now that you have time to experiment now before something happens, so you can know exactly what you will need to do. For example, I have a pot like this that's about twice as big as this. It's the same style pot, it's just twice as big, meaning that I could probably cook a 2-cup rice meal in that pot. And when I say 2-cup rice, I mean 2 cups of dry rice, which will make approximately 4 cups of cooked rice. All right, I could probably cook that. So what I would do is I would just use twice as many tea lights so that I can get the same results. Right? So I hope that answers some questions that some of you may have. And also, there's nothing wrong with using the candles that use oil or an oil-based fuel. Okay, so if you want to make your own candles, for example, if you guys go over to Iridium 242's channel, all right, Iridium, he's actually one of our community members. He has a video where he shows how he makes these candles that are fuel-based, that are like oil-based, with the real small 4-ounce mason jars. And you can actually use those as well. Okay, so let's open this up and see how it came out, because I'm actually pretty interested in seeing how it came out. I have a feeling it came out good because I could, like I said, I peeked through one of these little veins. And look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That came out perfect. Look at that. I'm actually pretty impressed. Pretty impressed that this came out so good. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little taste, just to see how fluffy it is. And it tastes just like it's supposed to taste. This is actually pretty awesome. I wasn't sure how this would come out. I wasn't sure if there was enough heat. But once I saw that I got up to boiling after just a few minutes, after 20 or so minutes, 24 minutes or something like that, I thought that it would come out well. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's something else that you can take a look at. This is a very inexpensive prep. And I truly do believe that this answers the question to those apartment dwellers that have asked before, what can I use to cook with if electricity runs out besides liquid propane? I think this is a great alternative. And not only can you cook rice with it, but you can use this to disinfect your water, you know, to boil water if you have to, and make that water safe to drink. And you can use this to, you know, heat up your water to put into your mountain house meals or your freeze-dried meals, etc., etc., etc. I think this is a great prep to have, and I hope that some of you guys try it out. If you do try it out, let us know how it works out for you. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, not only with this prep, but with your other preps, make sure that you use them. And when I say make sure you use them, I'm not saying use them all the time, you know. If you do, that's great. But at least use them a few times so you can become familiar with how to use your preps. and that you can become confident that it will work for you should you ever have to use it because you're in some kind of a dire circumstance or a life-changing event occurs where you have to turn to your preps because you need to. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in today. I hope you got something out of this. Hey, on the comments below, let us know what other fuel methods or other cooking methods you may have that we haven't thought about, right? So anything that you do or that you know of that we haven't discussed on this channel in previous videos or this video, let us know if there's any other alternative cooking methods that you may have so that we can help each other out and give each other new ideas to try new things out. Having said that, I hope you have a good weekend today. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world will be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.